Ikechi and Emem have a picnic, which is funny because we had a conversation the other night about wearing gloves while cooking, right?
Wow. It was very recent.
It was so hilarious because if you're in my house, I don't cook. I don't wear gloves while cooking. I clean my chicken with my hand. I'm going to do all these things, and y'all can say whatever the hell y'all want. I ain't had a mother jumper leave this house sick, nothing like that. And they always want to come back and eat my Mimi Tim food. Yeah. I've never had somebody that didn't want to come back and eat this food. Okay. Yeah. And it was funny because we were watching, Emem had the gloves on. And literally all of a sudden, me, Cherie, we were all like, what is that about? Yeah. Like, it was so funny to see Emem putting together a cheese board with gloves on. But she a nurse, so I'm going to give her the benefit of that.
Yeah, maybe that's it.
Yeah, like she understands the germs and everything. But I come from the house where they doing all this with it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But they have a picnic. It was very, very cute. And I thought it was really cute to see Ikechi walk her through the painting that they were doing, like Bob Ross style. And he did a good job.
Yeah, it was a vibe. I think it was nice to just see them, doing things that didn't, require them to dig too much, because I felt like the energy was obviously a little shaky.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think that's how you knock some of the edge off, doing, things that are light, and things that are, pleasing to either one. This might be your favorite painting thing, or it might be my favorite thing. And because you are in your element, it might lighten the room and make me want to come to your side and say, oh, how do you do that? So it was nice to just see them do something, other than argue.
But it didn't stop there, because they ended up having a little bit of a...
That was after they left, though.
No. At the thing, he says...
Oh, right. I'm sorry. Yep.
He said he wants time. He wants to do more stuff like this, like do stuff like this more often. Okay. And she says, well, do you feel like that's what you're doing? Like, do you feel like you're, successful at doing these things more often? And, I'm paraphrasing that. Ikechi gets quiet, and I immediately said, Now, this is the thing now. Do you think, because I do feel like Emem is putting in a lot of effort here. Do you think she's just tired of putting in this much effort?
I think this is a muscle, right? I had a conversation with a couple friend of ours recently who was going through something similar, who felt like he and his wife was going through something. They would have times like this where everything is copacetic and everything is normal.
And then she would say something.
And then she would say something and he would be like,
yes.
I think that is a muscle, right? I'm going to give grace to his wife and Emem, because from experience, I believe that I've learned how to navigate minds, right? Especially coming off the heels of an argument or coming off the heels of something that made us feel distant. So when we got into a situation where we were finding our way back to each other, I understood life doesn't stop lifing, right? But I understood how to pick my battles. And this is not the time or the era or the week for me to talk about this, because we're trying to make our way back to each other. So let's get good so that even when I have a criticism, it's received differently, because we're not still in defense mode, or we're not still in a fragile place, because we just had a massive knockdown, drag out argument. And now any poke at the glass is going to shatter the whole glass, right? I think seasoned couples understand this, right? Which they are not, which ironically, this is the friend, couple that I was talking to. They're also fairly, new in life and age, I will say. And so I think that this is a muscle, and this is why I appreciate, the experts and counseling, because I feel like this is why we call for them to be a part of the process more.
Yes.
Because you need somebody. Even when we were going through something similar, like we had a third party involved.
And we needed them to hold our hand almost through things.
Yeah, yes, because you don't learn these things by osmosis. Yeah. You know what I mean? You learn them through experience and challenges, and then learning, how to set the stage for you to get back to find each other.
I think so. I think, they go back into the apartment. Ikechi and Emem receive a gift from production. It really is just like their vows and everything like that. which did feel like she was, to me, from the outside. I'm not certain what the conversation was, right? But if I'm being fair, it did feel a bit like she was poking the bear. You had a win. He came home with you. That to me was a win because he's also an avoidant who uses his space as a weapon. Okay. And we know that, right? We can see that's what he's doing. Every time he gets mad, he just abandons her. So that's what he does. So you're already winning because for some odd reason he came back with you. So cool beans, right? You're there and she says, well, do you think, how do you feel about your vows today? Like, do you feel like they still hold true? He said he meant what he said when he said it. Okay. And then she said, well, she wanted to ask further, well, what's that supposed to mean? And he told her, if you keep hitting me over the head with your answers stick, you will see less and less of me. And that's not funny to me.
It was the answer stick.
The answer stick was so dramatic.
The answer stick was dramatic.
The problem...
but I'm going to say this. Don't lose your train of thought.
No.
This is the poking the bear that he's talking about. We have to, as wrong as he...
To be fair,
and he had a lot of wrong moments in this episode, and we'll get to it. You're giving him credence. Like, take the win, girl. Because even at the picnic, he blew by that little comment jab or whatever. He blew by that, and then you finished the picnic, and you were painting, and blah, 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 and then you get home, and it's like, this is the poking the bear thing. Like, let's take the win. Let's have a good night, because you never know where a good night could lead y'all. I'm gonna give you a quick story. Me and Zara had an argument. We were supposed to go somewhere, and I'm the type where if I'm not feeling it, I'm down to not even go. We ain't even got to go. You know what I mean? But I was working through that. You know what I mean? Ikechi. I was working through that. Zara was like, let's go. Like we still gonna go, whatever. We go on a date. We have an amazing time.
We had an amazing time.
And it wasn't even an amazing time that we actually planned.
Right.
Like we went on things that we were planning to do, but the night took a turn to such an amazing time. I don't even remember us having an argument.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? This is what I mean by, like, if you take the win and just blow through it, right? And just live in the moment and try to build off of that win, you might end up having the most amazing night that you have had in your existence. And that argument becomes so far in the distant past that you move on to the next day and the next day, and you continue to progress forward, further putting that mess behind you. So
I agree. In the history of our dates, that was probably top 5.
All because we just blew through it.
And the moment we sat down, like the moment we decided we were going out, the energy shifted. So it wasn't like I had to wait until we got to the restaurant in order for you to start being nice. It was just like, no, like we had an argument. You go to your room and get ready. I'm going to go to my room and get ready. And once we get in this Uber, we're going to be ready to have a good time.
And even that is a muscle because I used to be very cut and run. It's like, I'm done with this. I'm leaving. And even that was a muscle that I had to build. The muscle of like, okay, I'm going to do things that work for us. I want to do things that work for my wife, that work for her communication style, that work for her love style. That's something that takes repetition and takes time, takes counseling, takes effort. But you have to,
you can't be antagonistic.
But you also need help doing these things.
Yes.
Like
yes.
You need help.
You need.
Where are the experts? Because you know what we didn't see this episode?
Any expert.
And
I think it was in an effort to get them to celebrate their 1-month anniversaries. But
when there's a 5 alarm fire,
some of these people need extra love and support.
Because you made a good point last week, I think it was, when you said the way that our counselors were on call at the very beginning. If we have a 5 alarm fire, we're calling them. Oh, we need to talk to y'all this week. You know what I mean? They should have the same privilege and the same access.
I agree. And we shouldn't see Emem in the bathroom crying because
by herself
because this man called her an a-hole.
And then the next day don't see any. That was one of the situations where she should have been able to pick up the phone and say, Dr. Pia, this is what happened. Can we see y'all? And then Dr. Pia say, we're going to meet at 3:00 tomorrow.
1,000%. And maybe that's what happens on the next episode. We don't know. But I do feel like this is a 5 alarm fire. The problem I have with Ikechi is he always has this indignation and no context. Oh, he's so indignant and so I'm somebody's I might not be everybody's cup of tea, but I'm somebody's Hennessy and Coke. It was Crown Royal and Ice the other motherfucking day, bro. Which one is it? Okay, I'm tired. The point I'm trying to make is that, like, when you want to use words, you have no problem doing it.
But that's why you need counseling experts too, because it would take a very good counselor to be like, "What does that mean, Ikechi? Let's go deeper into that." You know what I mean?
1,000%.
Let's peel the onion back and get to the core of what the issue is.
1,000%, and it's that, and he needs specifically a black man in his life to hold him accountable. And